Episode 48 is live. We're in on this rainy Friday morning. Benno, good morning.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good actually, good. Just watched.
We're here.
I know, yeah, we're in. I was watching like half an hour of like OJ Simpson. Now I think I don't know. I've followed him on Twitter. How's he still
OJ?
alive? Yeah, mate. He's on Twitter.
Interesting.
I'm starting to think we should make a new podcast, just us talking. I've been listening to loads of Talk Sport. I'm turning into
Mate,
you.
there's so many just what have you been doing? This should all be about talk sport and like crime documentaries.
Yeah, that's all you do.
Well, you say that. I'm actually sat in front of a Lion King 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle right now.
Showing your age, mate.
Anyway, back to the OJ thing. I mean, like you've seen the documentary on Netflix, right? Which is obviously a bit like dramatised, but you're watching like a proper factual one now.
Yeah, I'm watching BBC Storyville, OJ, Made in America, the rise and fall of an American icon. That is what I'm watching.
Has anything ever screamed guilt at you more than the OJ case?
No, come on. He's not a crook. He's not a crook.
It's incredible.
He's just a good man. Framed.
You look at all of the bit from us to pass judgment, but do you know what I mean? Like you watch this documentary and you're like, I mean, this guy surely can't be more guilty, can he?
No.
I mean, well, I don't know. Obviously, good lawyers and juries have found reasonable doubt, and that's all they need.
Loads of money, yeah, it helps.
Yeah, but wow, yeah, that was quite an interesting one, wasn't it? I think he still gets harassed by people in the street.
I wonder why.
You did it, didn't you? Like just waiting for him to one day just be like, yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, you're waiting for it. I don't think you will.
I think he's probably going to just let that one go now.
Oh well, the OJ podcast for like later on this year. We'll do one later. The OJ files.
They do like real crime podcasts all over the place.
I know, mate. Everyone loves crime.
You get stuck in.
Who cut Peter Wright's strings? We'll do that one.
God, I completely forgot about that.
You could talk about that for hours. Real crime podcast.
I mean, God, could you imagine checking some theories out there? That'd be so funny.
Mate, there are some.
Who cut Peter Wright's strings?
There are some loose theories in the OJ documentary. I'll tell you that, but there are looser ones for Peter Wright. Like, I remember it all coming out, and I was just like, mate, some of these are wacky. Like,
I remember hearing about it, and I was just like, what? Like, is that like in this game? Has that actually happened?
Didn't your strings get cut though? In France.
I did have I did actually. Yeah. Yes, God, you're right.
Who did that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, I said that in like I do know. I genuinely don't know. I've I've completely forgotten about it, so I quite really don't care about it. I mean, you just stick it in the vice and restring it. It's not.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I think the Peter Wright situation was a bit different because he was literally walked upstairs just before his British amateur singles match, right, and realised that all of his rackets were like knackered. Yeah, that's something. Whereas I just went in like one day, picked up my rackets like for practice or something, and one of them was cut. So I was just like, oh, I'll just use another one. It was more of an inconvenience. So whoever did it, like, it was just like your timing was terrible. All it did was cost me half an hour of my life to restring it. But it didn't send me into a panic or oh my God, how am I going to play this match?
Yeah. You didn't go on like a Ford Bronco chase, like panicking.
Mate, I mean, we all know I'm not that in, I've got things like better things to worry about than my strings, my bracket of my strings.
That is true.
I've still got two. I think one of the rackets I've got in the pro shop still got the same strings as it had in the US Open doubles final last February. So.
Oh, good.
13 months and counting.
And gathering dust, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Really good.
Anyway, sorry, yapping away.
No, and we're famous now. We're on the TNRA website again. Well, no, maybe is that a second or third time? I can't even remember.
I don't know actually. I know that the Hammer Time podcast getting some good traction, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, no, it's.
I haven't actually watched it. I must confess. I like the fact. I do like the fact that they've gone video, which is what we did say we wanted to do, but it would just take so long to upload and stuff. And bearing in mind, for everybody who doesn't know, this could not be a more budget venture.
Mate, so my mate asked me when he listened, I was not a realist guy, and he was like, "Why does Ben's voice sound so much less clear than yours?" And I was like, "Yeah, because I'm literally I've got voice recorder on the screen."
I'm literally phoning you, and you've got your phone next to your laptop speaker.
No, you're coming out the computer.
Oh right, yes, of course, that makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, but not great. Yeah, they've done it well. And like the camera switches, but nonetheless, we're carrying on from where we left off last week. I'm sure we'll think of some more like banter from last week. I don't even know. But yeah, we're carrying on from the topics. I think it's a great topic about being a top 10 player, what you need and what you don't need. So I'm sure you've all listened to episode 47. And yeah, we're carrying on, aren't we? So what's the next aspect of a player?
Well, we as a quick recap, we basically said that you don't need to be a top server.
No.
So here you go. Let's change the parameters slightly. In order to be a top 10 player, do you need to be one of the 10 best players in the world at serving? We said no.
No, you don't.
We said no. And again, as a disclaimer, that doesn't mean we're saying that you can be a terrible server. You just don't need to be a top server.
Yeah.
Return, we said absolutely yes. Probably the most important bit.
Yeah.
Forehand, right-handers forehand, we kind of said no. Or we said backhand more important than forehand. Or that side of the court more important, right?
I said that, yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, I know you didn't. We disagreed on that point.
No, I said to you, what are you talking about? Of course I said from the right-hander's backhand side you need to be good.
Right, no.
It's the only thing I'm good at.
Yeah, no. I said something like, the forehand's not like, you don't need that good a forehand. And you were like, yeah, you do. That was where it went wrong. That was where we disagreed.
I mean, you do need to have a good forehand, but I don't think you need to have
as good a forehand as a backhand.
That's where we got to. We were like, you need to be better on in the grill corner and the one diagonally opposite than you do the traditional forehand corner.
There we go. Yeah,
there we go.
I'll agree with that.
Woo! And we were basically we were chewing the fat and chucking a volley around, and I don't know because obviously we haven't re-listened to the last 5 minutes to find out where we got to, and we're just coming in raw. But we got to volley, and I think we were kind of finished with it, but not necessarily. So, have you had any further thoughts on it?
On the volley?
Yeah.
We're not including cut volley, I assume.
I think you did mention cut volley. Yes, you said it is very important because of that exact fact.
But I think that's sort of like missing the point a bit because that's including return serve.
Yes. Okay then. All right. Let's do that then. Let's say that the volley is taken into account with the return of serve. So volley in general, like rally gameplay.
But I think you got to have a great one because like it's such a big attacking shot, and if you're loose on the volley and you can't like finish points with it. And likewise, if you can't defend. But then again, I think everyone can pretty much defend on the volley. It's not that hard.
You say that?
What?
Do you think everybody can defend well on volleys? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking now.
I can think of a couple of people who I would force at more than I would normally, because I'd be imagining I'm going to pick up some cheaper points than I would do against someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I think you need a good defensive volley.
Maybe what you're saying, like a defensive volley, is probably a bit easier because you're not trying to do anything.
Mate, it's a staple shot. You need it.
Well, yeah, you need it. But you're saying it's like quite easy. I think it's more reactive, isn't it? So you're not doing as much. There's less time to think. When you've got that big looping forehand volley and like the heavens open, you've got time to think about anything. What on earth am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
There's more chance to get that wrong, I think. So, I think it just all stems back to what we've said many, many times about it being an era thing. I think 30 years ago, the answer would be no. You don't need to have a top 10 volley to be a top 10 player.
Not allowed
Absolutely
to
not.
volley.
Well, but now I think. Okay, so I don't necessarily think that you need to have one to be one of the 10 best volleyers in the world to be top 10. But I think you absolutely have to be happy doing it and look to do it.
Yeah.
I think as a tactical move, you have to be prepared to do it. If you're someone who just shirks volleys and just leaves everything to the back wall and all that kind of stuff, I don't think you can make top 10. Because I think the top 10 guys will just apply too much time pressure on you. And so do you know what I mean? I don't think your volley needs to be stupid good, but you absolutely have to get in there and do it now.
I think the nature of the game is like a coming forward game, isn't it? So that's what changed my perspective on volleying. It was when Drew said to me, 6 years ago now? 5 years ago? 5 years ago. He was like, it's a coming forward game, just try and look to volley it. And I thought, yeah, why don't I just come forward every time and just take it, it's just better.
Well, if you look at two of the best players of all time, Lord Fades and Chisholm, what are they both just ridiculously good at?
Yeah, I was about to say something funny, but I couldn't think of anything. Volleying.
I don't know what you heard of me and didn't hear me there, but I basically said two best players of all time.
Yeah, I heard
Chisholm and Rob Fay, both ridiculous volleyers, right?
Yeah, I know, I said that. No, it's all right, we got it. I just had a bit of a technical issue, guys, don't worry.
So, I think job done on that one.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, well, I've got a couple more things on this list that I created a couple of weeks ago.
Bro, let's keep going. I like the list.
Okay. Targets.
If you're going to be a top 10 player, you need to be able to hit targets. You need it. You need to be good.
Yes or no?
Yes, 100%.
Have to. Yeah, I just don't think you can. I think, again, because of the nature of... I actually think there's more ways to win points than there used to be because people get in and volley more and you can get some more winners on the floor and stuff like that.
It's not a sort of risk you want to take, though.
But if you're literally looking to just outwork people...
It's not sustainable. It's like basically... So I've just thought
you've got to be able to pull the trigger.
I've just thought of this example, right, because England are playing a T20 today. If you can't hit targets, it's like players who just can't hit sixes, and basically you're relying on your strike rate being high through no dot balls. And
basically, every time there's a dot ball, you're like, right, there's pressure now.
Yeah, 100%. But the guys who can hit sixes don't even care. The guys who can just reel off a few forces, they're not arsed because they can get to 30 all in 2 shots. Whereas the ones who have to work really hard for the points, the guys who nudge it around like Root and whatever, their strike rate is always going to be a bit lower because they can't rely on that. I'm just going to hit 6 now. Do you know what I mean?
I spoke to a few people when I was coming up through the ranks, and I was just like, oh, I want to try and break through to be a plus player and get to top 10 and stuff. What do I need to do? And I remember hearing a few people. I remember having a conversation with a few people about it, and the one that really stuck with me forever was actually a conversation I had with Rosa.
Oh yeah.
And I think I was in Australia, as opposed to him being in the UK. And he, I've had this conversation with a few people. We kind of pussyfooted around a few things, and he just goes, basically, you just need to be you need to have. He goes, right, if I were you, I'd work on this a little bit and this a little bit, and just be a bit tighter here. And then he just goes, and then just targets.
Yeah.
I was like, well, just that. And he goes, mate, just constantly practice targets. Being able to win a point is being clinical and just being able to win a point when you get a sniff is you cannot put a price on that.
Yeah. Did Rosa used to do that?
But Rosa wasn't. Well, do you know what? He wasn't a massive targets man. He didn't really hit the ball very hard. So he was an absolute workhorse. And maybe he said that based on he's either come at that from one or two angles. Either his knowledge of the top 10,
yeah,
or maybe something that he wishes he had invested more time in.
Oh wow!
Mate, I don't know. I don't know. You'll have to ask him. But I've had a conversation with a couple of people. I think I've probably had it with you, and I've kind of said, you should probably do a bit. You should do a bit of this. And, maybe. And I'm like, trust me, mate. If I had my time again, I would have done this, and I would have done this. Because now I'm here, I know exactly what I need. I know exactly. In hindsight, I know exactly what I needed to have done and been better at to be a better player than I am now.
I think I'm gonna as soon as Reelers starts on April the 12th. I think I am gonna start just hitting a few targets on my own because I'm just closer. I live close to the club now, so I'm just gonna do what would you say? Would you say hit maybe 300 balls, 300 targets?
Never do that.
Go on then. How should you do it on your own?
So the reason I say that is because if you're just right, I'm going to do 2 baskets of grills, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Let's say there's 50 balls in the basket. It's an easy number. You've got 100 balls. You're hitting 100 balls. Doesn't matter if you hit 4 grills or 80 grills.
Yeah.
You're only hitting 100 balls. So I remember when I was practicing with Ricardo for the 2012 eliminator at Prested, we would do some rally baskets and work on, practice some stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'd finish every session we did 4 sessions a week, and we'd finish with targets. And I would do grills and winning galleries one day and dead-ons and cut volleys the next day. And he flipped it round and was just like, right, we're not leaving, I'm going to just feed you easy balls. We're not leaving the court until you've hit 50 grills and 50 winning galleries.
Right.
So he's like, you could do it in 100 balls, which would never happen. And if you want to switch off and just kind of plod through, you could be out in half an hour. But having that number target to try and hit every single ball is an opportunity to increase that. Whereas if you're just doing a basket of grills, you can switch off for 5 or 10 balls, can't you?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. You're just I'm starting with a full basket and I'm finishing with an empty basket. That's it. Whereas if you're I'm hitting 50, every time you miss one, it's like your strike rate with cricket.
Yeah.
Every time you miss one, you're like, it's another. Every time you finish the basket, you're like, oh god, I've got to collect these up and I'll do it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, brutal.
So that would be. I mean, everybody reacts differently to stuff. That really resonated with me training wise. I was like, yeah, I need to do for me to keep my concentration. That works a lot better for me.
I rate it. It's a brutal drill, but maybe that's what you got to be to a top. Yeah, that's what you got to do to be a top 10 player.
Well, you can't just like we're saying, you can't just kind of hack around and expect it to happen because it won't. So
50, yeah. Oh, maybe I'll get that.
Whatever it is. And we did 50 grills, 50 winning galleries, and then I had to hit. He would chuck balls down the penthouse into the back wall. I'd have to hit 25 manual dead-ons, 25 straight, but I wasn't allowed to hit the middle third. And then he would serve me 1 bounce sidewall serves or bobbles, and I had to hit, and we literally put the basket down at the service end, and I had to hit the basket 25 times. And imagine how many ridiculous cut volleys you hit that don't actually hit the basket because it's such a small target.
Mate, Ricardo must have been like, I love real tennis at this point.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, just feeding all these balls.
That was, I mean, like I said, everybody works differently with it, but that was a big, that was an easy way for me to kind of go about it.
Like it. Well, anyway,
an easy way to kind of dedicate yourself to doing it. You're like, right,
yeah, and focus.
Do I want to be out there all day, or
no?
Should I just rip through these and get them done?
Yeah. Well, there we go. With the targets, it's crucial, yeah, because everyone's so good at retrieving. Everyone's steady enough that if you're not ending the point when you get a chance, someone else will.
Yeah, you've just got to be prepared to do it. If you let me ask you this: if you walk out on court against an outright target hitter, an outright target hitter against a floor player, you're going to have a very interesting battle.
Then again, you always think outright target hitters miss a few balls as well.
Exactly, and the solid person's never going to really miss balls. So imagine you've got 2 people of the same standards.
Yeah.
But, you'd have an interesting battle. And basically, what would happen on that day is if the target hitter was on, they'd win.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they weren't, they'd lose. That would be it. But so we're not saying all out targets, but it's a massive part of the game now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a massive part of the game.
Exactly. Well, there are 3 targets. Use them.
Use them wisely.
Yeah, don't abuse them. Where are we
Right.
going with this? Right, fitness. I mean, I don't think you need to be that fit.
I completely disagree with you.
I'm bantering. I'm just like I was thinking of Rob, like, but I'm sure Rob's fitter than most. But like, yeah, you obviously do. You obviously do. You play 5 sets.
I think it's one of those things that's like potentially a bit of a myth, and people are just like, oh, something they just don't really think about. Like, think is a massive priority. As in, you'd go, oh, I'd rather have a better volley than be fit.
No.
A lot of people, because they're like, well, it's the more fun thing, right? Get me on court.
I disagree. Getting in the gym is so fun.
Well, yeah, if you're that way inclined, but a lot of people, are just like, oh yeah, if I want to improve, I need to hit more balls. And like, I remember, and I've said it to you, you can do all the training you want, and you can get down to like low single figures, maybe like scratch or 1. But the difference between 0 and +5 is fitness.
What about rig?
Irrelevant.
Okay, fine.
How would you rate your rig out of 10?
At the moment, 5.
How would you rate your real tennis fitness?
Well, a bit better because I've been running recently. So
mate, I would piss all over you in 5 sets. You would be dead.
I wouldn't get there.
Well, okay, so here's a prime example, right? And I'm going to name names not because I'm saying that this person is unfit whatsoever, but it's just a fine example of what happens, right? US Open tuxedo 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago.
Oh, I know what you're going to say as well.
You already know it. Chris Chapman, Darren Long, yeah. They're having an absolute...
I remember watching that game. The first 2 sets were mint.
They're having a belter. I think it's like 6-5 to Chappers or 6-4 or something, and then it's like 4-all in the second, and like we're all like, come on, Daz, because everybody, without being rude to Darren, assumes Chappers is going to win, but you not enjoy seeing somebody struggle. You like seeing a match, don't you?
Yeah.
No one enjoys watching a 1-1 quarter final.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, Daz is making a match of this. This is great. Go on, Daz. Daz wins the second set like 6-5, and I'm actually stringing the racket at the time. I think 3 of the Tuxedo members were in the pro shop with me, and they said, oh, so what's going to happen now then? And I was like, Chappers is going to win like 1-on-1 from here. And they were like, really? And I was like, yeah, because Darren's going to be knackered. Not because he's unfit, but because he's just not +8 fit, because he's not used to it. He doesn't play at that intensity all the time. Like, that's what Chappers does.
Yeah, it's true.
So, like, being used to doing that...
Right, okay. Could you not say that, like, someone's off +8 because they play at a different intensity rather than they're super fit? Could you argue that Daz just isn't used to playing at that level of match? Does that mean he's unfit? I know you're not...
Hang on, based on his... Again, without being rude, based on his tennis ability?
Yeah?
But then he played at that level for 2 sets.
Yeah, I know. It's weird, isn't it?
And I think that's just the thing. Like, being used to basically at 1 set all there, Darren would have gone, right, I'm over the moon, but God, I'm tired. And Chappers would have gone, okay, this match is going to last 40 minutes longer than it could have done. I don't mean that rudely, but do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In terms of fitness, Chappers isn't going to be like, oh God, I really put a lot into that.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, okay, that's another 40 minutes of tennis where I haven't won a set. It's fine. I've got to go again. And it's just such a big part, and it's something that like I invested a lot of time into. And I'll tell you what, honestly, being able to just charge around the court, knowing that you're never going to get tired or whatever, that is so good for mental strength. Because you don't go on court thinking I've got to get this done in like X amount of time. Do you know what I mean? There is a fuel tank, and it will be empty after 2 hours. So it's got to be finished by then.
Yeah.
You just don't worry about it. You're just like, okay, I'll just play as long as I need to play.
Yeah.
So obviously the best way to improve your fitness is bicep curls and tricep dips, isn't it, Schenkers?
Mate, I've not done a tricep dip since I moved house. There's no like tricep bars near me, so
you just use a chair.
Yeah, but it's not as good as the parallel bars.
Well, of course it's not, but you make do, right?
They did help a lot, actually. I got good at tricep dips. When I'm back in the gym, I'll be doing tricep dips again.
Well, exactly, and that is why.
I've been working on my press-ups. My press-ups got a lot better.
Exactly, and that is why if we were to go out there and play 5 sets, regardless of like the score, you would be absolutely arseholed.
Probably.
You might be like, yeah, but I look good. But my triceps are on point, and this
my
shirt
triceps are terrible. But yeah,
and this shirt hugs nicely.
Yeah, exactly. Just wish I was better.
Right, so anyway, it's a massive part.
Yeah, no, bantering aside.
Huge part. We're talking again. You can be fit. Again, we're not saying that, like, you know, if you're, well, we are saying if you're unfit, it's not going to work. But you don't need to be super fit. But like, you've got to be fit to be top 10.
Yeah,
absolutely. Mentality.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be a top 10 player, you've clearly had a strong mentality to want to do all those things well. So maybe it goes hand in hand.
I disagree with you there.
You don't need a strong mentality.
No, as in I'm saying I don't think that you automatically have one by getting yourself to top 10 level.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't think.
Yeah, fair.
But do you think I've got a strong mentality?
Yeah.
Not on a real tennis court, I don't.
Oh, don't say that.
I doubt it's a secret. And that's something that, like, I will continue to strive at getting better at. But yeah, God, if I had my time again, like I said, I would invest a lot more of my time into that side of it. You know, you get like you just get people that just naturally have like a winning mentality, don't you?
I guess so, yeah.
People that just, when like the chips are down, they're just like, they're going to go 2 ways. You're either going to just plod, or 3 ways. You're either going to plod, you're going to throw the towel in, or you're going to like throw the kitchen sink at somebody.
Yeah.
And you know, having been 2 sets to love up against Rob a couple of times in my career in a very short space of time, you know, that's what you saw from him at that point. Outright winning mentality. I'm not losing to this gimp.
No.
I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at him.
He wouldn't have said that. He would have been like, if I win, I can have a beer. That beer will taste better.
I think. Well, do you know what, mate? Well, in order to get to top 10, maybe you don't need to have an insanely good mentality. But if you want to be a winner, if you want to win stuff, you've got to.
Yeah.
So again, and I guess on the basis the topic is, if you want to be top 10, you don't necessarily need to. But if you want to be top 3 and winning stuff, then yes, you do.
Yeah,
big time.
That's a fair point. Mentality's a tough one, isn't it? Because it is like you can't coach it. You can't really coach it. It's like either you want it or you don't. You're born with it.
You can definitely work on it. Absolutely, you can work on it. 100%.
Here's one for you, mate.
You can train anything.
Here's one for you, mate. So, like, if you say you've not got a good mentality, do you never just think, fuck, if I win this game, like, it'll be another grand?
Well, yeah, but it's like, it's not as easy as that, is it?
Why not?
Well, if I said to you, if you win this game, it's another grand, you need to hit 3 grills.
No,
you can't just do it, can you?
So, yeah, I know, but, like, you surely think, oh, come on, like, I can do this.
Yeah, but there's also, you've got to remember, there's somebody at the other end of the net. You're not in full control of a tennis court.
Right.
Well, you're not, are you?
No, I know you're not.
You've got someone else that's out there.
Yeah,
like,
so
trying to take control as well.
If they're playing well, fair, like, that's okay. But like, let's say, have you ever played a match and struggled for motivation?
Yes.
And like, did you ever think like, oh well, come on, you're playing for money. Like, think it's a job. Think of the money.
No.
Really? Okay.
No, I didn't.
It's just a question.
Honestly, because at that point, if the answer to that was yes, then if that is a factor, or if that is a motivator, then at that point you'd knuckle down, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying completely. I think it's like saying it, and this is going to sound a bit ridiculous, but it's like saying like if somebody's got a mental health issue and you can't relate to it, it's very easy to kind of go, well, why don't they just do this? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair.
Or it's like, God, this is going to be bad.
Go on.
It's like when you hear of cases or like watch TV and you watch things of like domestic abuse that's been going on for years, right? And you're just like, God, why don't they just leave? Everybody thinks it. Like the default thing is like, why don't they just get up and walk out? And you can't appreciate how difficult that must be because you've never had to do it.
Yeah, wow, this has gone deep.
Well, do you know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing with mentality.
Yeah.
You can't just go, all right, come on then, let's fire up.
Let's win.
And you can, but you've got to find a way to do it, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess so. I was just playing devil's advocate there. I mean, it would motivate me, right? If I was playing for money, I would think like, even if I was hating real tennis, even if I had a bad day, I'd think, right, now's a chance to earn some money. If I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. But like, if it's like I've got a choice where, come on, or if I'm playing and maybe, you're not playing, you're not doing yourself justice, and maybe you're thinking, God, do I want to win this? But at least you'd have that as like the last resort to fall back on for me. I'd be like, come on, just earn some money or something. Just like.
Yeah, but you've also got a situation there which you haven't taken into account, like where some people might go, I don't want to lose to this person. This is a bad loss.
Yeah.
So do I try my nuts off?
That's a big. I think that's a bigger motivating factor.
And lose, or do you basically line yourself up with an excuse?
Yeah, no.
I was injured, or my ankle's not quite right, or do you know what I mean? Like that's what somebody with that mentality would probably do.
The biggest motivating factor in real tennis is like, I do not want to lose to that person. That's what's helped me. I think it's like, come on, you're not losing this game. You're not losing this game. Like I'd literally rather like hang up my rackets than lose this. Like that's the sort of thing I think all the time.
I think being able to go out on court and just go, the one thing I'm going to do today is put in 100% effort, and I don't care whether I win or lose. I want to win, but I will literally die. You will scrape me off this floor before I don't put in 100%. I think that is an underestimated. I think people just think that is a given with people competing, and it's not.
No, it's not. You've got to be in the right frame of mind for that.
I would love to go out on court and just say, like, I'm willing to die on court today to win.
Rosa did.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time he stepped out there.
No.
Absolute like mental warrior.
Well, there we go. Good man.
Well, do you know what I think a lot? And I'm not picking Rosa on this at all. But going back to the mentality thing, right?
Yeah.
Think how if you've got an average Joe of base level talent.
Yeah.
Right. He doesn't just pick up a racket at 18 and make a British Open semi-final.
Well, Fagona did, but yeah.
Exactly. Or just like win the World Championship in 1994, and when talking to him about it after about 8 pints, he was just like, mate, I'll tell you the truth, I didn't really know what I was doing at that point. I was just literally running around and getting the ball over the net.
Yeah.
Talent. If you take a very base level talented person and you give them an insanely good mentality, they're going to achieve stuff.
Yeah.
If they don't have that, they're just going to be the average Joe.
Yeah, no, agree.
Think about sports people, like, I'm not going to name names. Think about sports people that you look at and you just go, do you know what? They're not, this guy's nothing special, but they've just got something where they're just so determined to grind and fight that it makes them better.
Yeah.
Like, their talent level should not be winning them this, but their mindset is dragging them there. You get it in all sports.
People probably get to the top 10 with that, yeah.
So, I think, going back to it, I don't think you need an amazing mindset to be top 10, but you certainly do if you want to win.
Fair.
If the difference between top 10 and winning could be mindset on its own.
Could be. Well, there we go. On that, we can pretty much wrap the topic up. What you need to be a top 10 player, what you don't, what you can lose, what you do need.
So what do you need?
You need a return to serve.
That's it.
No. You need a return to serve, you need a good backhand, you need a bit of an attacking volley, and you need targets. I'd put them top 4, not necessarily in that order, but you need those 4. Yeah. And you need a good forehand. You're gonna need to whack stuff on your forehand.
Basically, you what you need, like you say, you need to be solid on the floor and be able to like win points and stuff. Doesn't mean you need to go gung ho on like either side.
Yeah.
But basically, you pretty much need to be rounded. It's pretty difficult to be a specialist and get to top 10.
Yeah.
Because those guys will just find you out.
Yeah.
I think. But you've got to be fit.
Yeah, oh yeah, you got to be fit. Yeah.
Everybody has to have a return serve as well. That is absolutely mandatory.
Yeah, mandatory. Yeah.
It is. Just can't. You're someone that can't return serve. How are they ever going to win points against a top 10 player?
Mate, don't know.
Well, they just shovel it back into play, and then the top 10 player just goes and cheers.
You're not winning an IPL contract.
Certainly not.
No.
And that is the dream.
That is the dream. Yeah, IPL contracts in real tennis. But good, great debate. That's filled 2 episodes. Sorry.
Nice that you're so pumped about it.
Oh mate, I am pumped. I mean, like, did I think it would fill 2 episodes? No, but it has. That's great.
Oh, good. There you go. Now you can use that and make top 10.
I will be a top 10 player.
Good.
Yeah, good. Right, well, we can move on now. We can move on to Ballarat in Australia.
Ah, yes.
We've been there.
Congrats.
We've done it.
First time. Do you know what? This must be. That must have been a court that we both ticked off at the same time.
That's the only one on the list, yeah.
It must be.
Yeah. On the same day.
On the same day. Yeah, that was. Well, that was quite a tough one, wasn't it? Because we literally flew from London to Australia, landed in Melbourne.
Mate, did you say was it London? I'm pretty sure it was Birmingham.
Sorry, you're right. Flew from Birmingham.
Where were you flying from?
To Melbourne. Landed, got through customs, etc. Drove to, got a cab or the metro or whatever to the club. Did we?
No, where?
Got to the club. Got the keys to the apartment we were staying in, walked to the apartment.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Dropped off our stuff, picked up a racket and some whites, walked down to a hire car place, picked up the hire car, drove straight out to Ballarat, which was about an hour and 20 minutes or something, fresh off the plane, hit some balls, went out for lunch and just drove straight back to Melbourne.
No, I don't think we did go to the club. I think we went straight to Ballarat.
You're right, we did.
Yeah, mate. So my version of events, my version of events, which is going to be the correct one, is we got off the plane. I remember like looking outside and being like, oh my god, what time is it? And basically like got a taxi to the hire car place.
That's right.
And then we've just got in a hire car, driven to Ballarat.
We were literally airport straight to the hire car place.
Listening to Chase and Status.
I remember having my suitcase in the changing room trying to sift through to find some gear.
Yeah, I know. And we were listening to Chase and Status in the car, and I just remember like driving through everything. I was like, whoa. And like we got to Ballarat, and it was like I literally felt like I was an alien. I didn't even feel like I was in my own body. It was like what? Like, I couldn't even move.
Yeah, I remember just kind of thinking like, right, you know, this is going to be the only chance I'm ever going to have to like get out and do this. So let's go out there and do it. Anyway, nice court.
Cool colours.
Isn't it like poo brown?
On the floor or the walls? Yeah, something's green. Something's green. Is the floor green?
I remember the floor playing. I remember the court playing really nicely.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Really nicely. It's green with like a kind of browny burgundy walls.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember the floor being that green, but it obviously was. I remember Ballarat itself being quite small, sort of felt like quite a small town.
Yeah,
This
right.
club felt like we were kind of down a country lane.
Yeah.
But a nice little club area, little bar. I bet tell you what, again, because it's not out in the sticks by any stretch, but because it seems like it's not in the town centre. I bet that's a great place for an event.
Agree.
Like for members and stuff, because like they got the bar there, and it's like right, if you're there, you're probably there for the day, aren't you? I bet they have a good old time there.
Agree.
very similar to an English real tennis club, I find, in terms of what was there.
Yeah, it's the
Like,
setup.
it wasn't like it wasn't overloaded with like facilities or anything. It
No.
just kind of basically did what it needed to do.
Yeah, no, agree. Like it was almost.
Changing rooms, bar, club room area, outdoor bit for a barbecue.
It reminded me of Newmarket. Just like it's just.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that's it. That must be it.
Do you know what? That's actually not a bad. That's not a bad.
Yeah, because it's just in the middle of.
description.
It's just like you drive to the postcode and you're like, oh my god, that's actually the real tennis court. It's not like it sticks out a mile off. You can see it.
And you know what? It's very similar to Newmarket in the sense that it is in a town, but it's not in the centre.
I thought it played similar to Newmarket as well.
I can't remember. Well, it felt like it played nicer than Newmarket.
Well, like, yeah, I remember when I played at Newmarket, I probably played about the same as I did at Ballarat. So, it was good though. I just remember, yeah, it was. I remember sweating a lot. I was like, I'm struggling.
Yeah, it was obviously very warm. Floors it was quite nice and quick, very true. I thought.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we did. We must have done like a couple of.
Mate, we just did a few. We just did
a couple of 11s or something.
Yeah, genuinely. Like we did a few backhands, did a few cross courts.
20, didn't we?
Yeah, and then we did some 11s, and you like destroyed me. Like it was just I was like, oh my god, I can't see. But yeah.
That was before it all started going wrong. Then we went to Melbourne. Should have just stayed at Ballarat.
Yeah.
I remember the court playing very nicely.
I agree. Lovely place.
Quite high ceilings.
Very high.
Just everything again, like everything.
You got the flags. You got all the flags on the walls, I think.
Yeah, got the flags up on the high back wall. High ceilings, so you can pretty much serve anything you want there. I have to confess, I can't really remember whether it was like quite spinny off the walls or not. I can't remember where the railroads were.
I think it does
really,
cut. It does
really
cut.
good, really not.
It does cut down. Yeah, it cuts down. I think. Not. I remember.
Oh yeah, no, it does. I just can't remember whether railroads like came back and stuff. I would imagine they did.
Yeah.
But I can't remember off the top of my head, if I'm honest. Nice. They've done a couple of. I think they're due.
Wow. Dog.
I think they're due to host the. I think they're due to host the Aussie Open next year, or they were meant to be hosting it this year. It was their turn.
Yeah.
Obviously, COVID hasn't allowed that, but I think they're due to host again soon. So
I think that's right.
Like a load of pros all descending on like the town of Ballarat.
Can't be a bad thing.
Well, no, because it's one of those places where there's not much going on, so everyone's going to kind of convene at the club. There'll be loads of cards. There'll be people hanging around, which would be good. Quite a good place, I think.
Yeah.
What was your favourite bit about the club? We didn't do that. Oh, we did do that with Hobart, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I asked you because obviously I haven't been. What's my favourite bit? I think the bar area is mint. What a lovely bar area that is.
Yeah.
And then you've got the pro shop, like the bit of glass behind the pro shop,
like
sofas.
Looking out onto the. So you can look through the glass onto the court.
I think it's a really, really nice bar area, and I think comparable to a lot of clubs in how they've done it, but I just felt quite at home in that Ballarat bar area, if I'm honest. Like nice tables, like just perfect.
Yeah, you could feel when you were in the bar. You could feel, even though there was only maybe a couple of people on before us. In fact, Hattie Hamilton was on court before us, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, I was like, I thought it was a dream. I was like, what's going on?
The weirdest thing about like the whole experience was like, right, obviously jet lagged, jumped in a car, driven an hour and a half through the middle of nowhere to get to Ballarat, and then walk on court, and I'm like, how do I know this person?
Yeah, you expect just to know like Fowler. I'm like, hang on, is that Hattie Hamilton?
Why is there somebody like? Why are we both in the Globe, which is a pretty big place? How am I in this little tiny speck in the same place as someone else? And it's not like we're in the middle of London. Do you know what I mean? We're like a tiny little village road in like suburban Australia. And there's just somebody we know like on court. That was weird.
Yeah, I know. Weird. Of all the places, what's your favourite bit about the club?
You could just feel though, even though there weren't any members there because it was just us playing. You could feel that it was a relaxed club.
Yeah, very.
You could feel that it was a good, fun, relaxed place to be.
Cool place to be, yeah.
I enjoyed the. I enjoyed the bar area. I mean, obviously there weren't any members while we were there, but I agree with you. I think that would be a really good place, like for members. I think that would be like the place where it all happens. So I'd have to agree with you on that one. Sorry, a bit boring.
That's okay.
But there's not a million other things there, is it? It's, like you say, it's quite an English style club.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, a few decent players have come from Ballarat. Fowler, one.
Andrew Fowler.
Anyone else come from Ballarat?
I think the Williams brothers are from Ballarat.
Nice.
I believe.
Yeah, who else? Must be someone.
Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're from Ballarat. I don't know. I'm not too hot on Australian
reelers.
Australian reelers history.
Yeah.
Is Steve from Ballarat?
Oh, of course he is. Steve Vagoda.
There you go.
The greatest player ever from Ballarat.
I'm actually really annoyed that we remembered that because I was hoping.
Mate, he would have nibbled so hard. And been like,
we definitely would have got a text.
Guys, I started Ballarat when I was 16. I was off 7 in 6 months.
Yeah, well, like mate, like you say, we were talking about good people.
Yeah. We're talking about Fowler, mate. I remember when I asked Steve actually. I was like, "Oh, have you ever played much with Fowler?" He was like, "Yeah, I played loads." And then he was like, "I was like, oh, why wasn't Andy like a top 10 player?" And he was like, "Mate, racket errors, mate, racket errors."
just straight in.
Straight in with a racket. I was like, fair mate.
Had it locked and loaded.
Yeah.
Knew exactly what he was going to say. God, what a floor machine. Mate, you must. Did you ever see Fowler playing at his best, at his pomp?
I saw him play a British Open match, which was good enough for me.
Watching like him against Rod, just two absolute ball machines. Watching those two just like going at it for hours and hours and hours. It goes back to what we were saying about targets. Neither of them were big target hitters, and they used to just absolutely work each other into the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Anything else to say about Ballarat?
Not so much.
It was a pretty swift,
mate. It was a
highly jet-lagged visit.
It's a great story. Though. It's a great story. I think it's like we just got off a plane and played Ballarat like ridiculously jet-lagged.
Went in, got it done.
Yeah, like it was apparently 7:30 in the morning. I mean, I don't even know where I was. I'd never been so jet-lagged in my life.
Well, we got there at lunchtime, didn't we? So we landed first thing in the morning. Yeah, that's right. We landed first thing in the morning because the hire car place was just. We had to drive past like the Aussie Open lawn tennis and stuff, and it was quite busy because it was like the week before the Oz Open, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very glad I did that. Very glad I did that because it was one of those things. I'm just never sure when I'm going to get an opportunity to go. So, well done us.
I know, yeah, exactly. We ticked it off. It's like me and flipping Hardwick. When am I going to go?
Well, I mean, that's a bit different because, Ballarat's a 24-hour flight, an hour and a half drive. Hardwick, for you, is going to be a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I think your excuses are a bit... That's quite interesting, actually. You've played real tennis at Ballarat, but not Hardwick.
No, I need to change that, mate. This summer I will change that, I promise you.
Go on the tour.
I will. I'm going on tour, yeah. I'm listening to TalkSport. What are you on for the rest of today, bro?
I'm going to do a workout at 10. So workout in half an hour, and then dog walker's coming out to pick up this lab thing. Oh yeah, right on cue. At about 12:30, and then I'll have a stretch and some lunch and watch golf all day.
Mate, I'm on the golf as well. My housemate's a massive golfer, and
I sat there all day.
Golf's great for me because my attention span's like really bad. So like when I'm watching football, I'm always just like up and about doing stuff. Like I can never really watch the game. With golf, like you just have to dial in for like that 1 second, and then bang, you can do what you want, and then bang again, watch another putt, and like, you got any bets on?
I do actually. I've got money on 5 of them. So I've got Cantlay, who's 2 over, so not great. But then I've got Connors, who's 2 off the lead.
Yeah.
Bazine out. Thomas. Rob Simpson. Who else have I got? Simpson, Bazine out. Bazine Newt. Connors, Cantlay, and Thomas. So Cantlay's not doing great, but the others are all in contention. So
Yeah, good. I like that.
I mean, there's a lot that can go on there between now and the end of the day when the cut.
At least you haven't got Rory.
Do you know what? I actually read like a few like review type things yesterday morning before putting bets on, just to get like a bit of expert input. And they spoke to like 10 experts, and they kind of said like, who's your pick to win? Who is your pick like guaranteed top 10? Who is your like pick at like odds greater than 50 to 1, like your outsider?
Yeah.
And who is 100% not going to win? And they all picked Rory for not going to win.
Really?
Every single one of them, yeah.
Wow.
Incredible.
Oh well, poor boy.
Yeah, it's not going well for him at the moment. He's out of the top 10.
Mate, I know. Bit like Tim Chisholm.
Which is, well, out of the top 10, he needs to either work on his fitness or his draw.
Yeah, exactly. Or get a new knee. But I'm in work, I guess, and then watching the golf similar to you. Maybe a few press ups.
Love the fact that you're on the golf. That's quality.
Get my fitness up. Yeah, mate. I would much rather watch golf than football. But then again, Villa are playing Newcastle, 2 of my favourite teams. So.
No Greenish again. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
Disappointing. So we'll have to try and grind that out.
Yeah, exactly. Hope so.
It is Newcastle though, and they are bad.
I think Newcastle will do you, mate.
They probably will, because we can do Liverpool 7-2 and then lose to Sheffield United. So
yeah, that's just shocking.
When you're like a mid-table team, like week to week, you're like, what on earth is going to happen here? Like when we beat Arsenal away,
yeah,
and then next week
the Arsenal one was a great
draw with Brighton or something, and you're like, oh, it's just one of those.
That's why
consistency. It's fun to watch.
That's why a table shows where your team is in the standings. 38 games. It's an average.
Exactly.
But there we go. Well, guys, episode 48 is done and dusted until 49.